1, 2. Hey, hey. Sure.
Okay, 3, that looks good. Coming to you. Ready, 3, and take 2. On 2. 2, you're live.
Jackass!
Welcome everybody back to the Show Tech Show. It's Sunday night here on the Lone Star. That means it's time to talk tech for stagehand folks and also beer. Thank you for bringing that to the table, Scott. Literally, we're going to be drinking one. Yeah, absolutely. I'll share and share alike, but that comes later in the show. I'm your host, by the way. Rick Carr is my name. Streaming Rich on Twitter if you're a nerd. Alongside me here, this is Scott Davis of Davis Lighting Designs here in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, where we are broadcasting live for you tonight. And the other voice you may have caught, kind of disembodied in the air, pre-stream or here in the show, that's Jordan Hewitt. He is our technical director this evening.
Welcome to Show Tech Show. Tech Show.
And
that is all I must say.
I'm there.
So definitely, folks, if you're watching the show live, we do encourage you.
We're sorry.
We encourage you to get a life because that's kind of sad. It's the internet. Come on. No, jump over to our website. It's frontiertelevision.com where you can watch the live stream if you're not already, and you can join us in the chat room. We've got built in there. Click on Chat Live. It's going to be down in this area somewhere. That'll load up the online chat room. You can jump in. We'll be kind of watching that, give it a little back and forth during the show. And we'll give you other ways to contact us after the show for you video on demand, folks, later. That said, folks, tonight we've got a very exciting show lined up, very important topic tonight, and if I didn't lay it on thick enough on Facebook already, it's one that you really need to watch with those you love. We're going to be talking about immersive multi-channel audio, so surround sound for the 21st century. We're well past the old days of stereophonic audio and even 5.1 Dolby, so we're going to see how obnoxious it can get. Also, we're going to talk about unintended consequences, guys.
What's that got to do with theater?
You guys don't do... actually, it only has theatrical applications. Movie theatrical.
Really?
But, yeah.
Movies?
You never know.
I don't do movies.
You don't do movies? You got such a movie face.
We should go work for Brian Green.
He does movies?
Don't even think he works now. Yeah, buddy.
Sounds like my kind of employer. So unintended consequences. This is kind of as technology rolls forward. We're going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing the fallout that comes along with all those wonderful advances in technology. Plus some curated industry and technology news that we'll discuss until it gets boring, which is why we'll just call the segment Next.
Next.
So not a ton of news. We'll try to keep this moving along fast. I think in the past we've kind of gotten mired down in current events. So yeah, Jordan, I've got to ask. I didn't read ahead, but I saw your headline: VHS camcorder app.
Yeah.
Guh?
Yeah.
Guh.
I must say that the VHS camcorder app, it's a pretty, I don't know, it's probably one of the most useless, wasteful things ever they can do it. But they released it on like the iPhone, and it's for the iPhone only right now. They came out with the Android in case you want to ever shoot your kid's birthday.
So this is a filter?
It's a filter.
Okay.
It's a real app. You know, who wants to have the old VHS quality, like you can see right here, garbage, I don't know how
so
to
it
say
puts
it.
the on-screen display there, and you get the flashing
and
record light?
Yeah, so you can have different settings and stuff like that, allows you different resolutions and frame rates to make your video look clear or pixelated. You can also degrade the image quality by swiping across the screen, whatever.
Oh, okay.
The funniest thing about this is it probably costs more. The app costs more than a VHS.
Than an actual camcorder would cost.
It costs like $4. Yeah,
that is true. You can go to the pawn shop right now and probably pick up a VHS camera.
You laugh. Next week, that's how we're going to look.
Yeah, I know, right? That's kind of cool. I don't know. I could have fun with that. That's
it could be some like
throwback
nostalgia thing that you use to make a funny video or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Something that you could do like make your home movie or...
Well, we've had like the sepia filter and all these photo filters like on Instagram forever, so I guess it stands to reason that we get some proper video filters to kind of make this
but it's just,
like a little bit more...
How can VHS become such a fad or something like that?
Dude, the 80s are coming back, man. It's all about the 80s fashion. And
it's all about that TV show that came out.
Yeah.
Which one?
What the heck was the name of it? I don't know. I can't remember now.
All right.
Goldbergs.
The Gold.
Come on! The Goldbergs.
Goldbergs.
Yeah, kind of just...
Have you not watched the Goldbergs yet?
All right.
So this is Scott's informal and in-depth review. Go.
Goldberg's,
Good chat.
based in the 80s.
Yeah, I was watching that. What's that spy show we watched? That
Spy versus Spy.
No, not Spy versus Spy. That actually was in the 80s. The one about the Americans, about the Soviet plants that are. Did you guys see
Isn't
that?
that called The Americans?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, I guess it was about the title is what I'm saying. But anyway, that's all 80s stuff. So that's one of the fun parts of that show is all the 80s references and kind of stuff they mix in. They do a respectful job of it. But So VHS camcorder app, check it out if you're a phone person.
I'm all about it, man.
Yeah, I play with that.
Bring it on. Bring it
next,
on.
next we'll move on from that.
Next!
So to take that completely in a wild different direction, DirecTV announced recently that they will be deploying I guess it's not their first ultra high def box, their first 4K set top receiver, but this will be the first one that doesn't require a specific model of Samsung television to work with it. So it'll truly be the first satellite company 4K offering. So here on the show and kind of in life in general, my recommendation for people has been like, don't bother buying a 4K screen right now unless you're really into Netflix and have ridiculous bandwidth or YouTube or something like that, because there's just no 4K content available. And so this can this can handle the what DirecTV 4K streams there are. They're still kind of niche programs right now. Upscales content to 4K, buyer beware. But so there is now a mainstream bandwidth or mainstream dog bark. Mainstream way for you to get 4K consumer content on your television. Starting to change. What do you guys think about that? You have any 4K in your future here?
I'm still on my TV. I think can only handle like 720 at, I don't know what the refresh rate is on it, but it can't handle anything fast motion.
Yeah.
Only because it's a cheap TV. I've probably got, I don't know, like 10 years ago. But, I think at some point in life when 4K becomes more and more standard, I would probably get to it. The TVs are pretty cheap right now these days, and for the newer model TVs and
They're
stuff like that.
getting pretty reasonable. Just about any frontline model is going to have 4K built into it. Definitely better value for your dollar getting a 1080p screen, but
Until video games catch up to it, there's no use in it.
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah, when we start seeing like Xbox 4K games and PlayStation 5, so that will be a big game changer.
So many of the video games are still running at 720. That that's just, for me, it's a lost cause right now.
Yeah. Well, a lot of PC gamers, to be fair, we've got a video game show coming out on Thursdays here, Split Screen, especially of interest to our Twitch audience, perhaps. But I know a lot of PC gamers, they're obviously working in those resolutions to begin with, and it's getting kind of a popular thing to do to go ahead and hook that up to a big screen TV and have that theatrical gaming experience. But yeah, I think console games is a great point, because once that kind of comes into play, then everybody who's getting a game system for Christmas, suddenly they're avid 4K consumers, and the market changes overnight.
Yeah, the 4K thing, it's gonna happen, but it doesn't have to yet. Time Warner Cable came out with the 4K box.
What? Okay, hold on. Jordan's trying to subtly.
What?
You need to pull your mic up into your mouth because it gets down here and it goes away a little bit. I'm just saying.
Well, if I put it up here, you're going to get overdrive.
Just drive it away a little bit.
That's why I just let it sit there.
Okay.
But if
Jordan's trying to be like good, and like produce like.
I could
flip him a
speak
note.
up.
Hello, how is everyone doing today? I believe the 4K TV is going to be a big piece of shit.
It's good television.
Thanks.
Very well done.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm in a mood today. Sorry.
I railroaded you. What were you saying though before? About did I cut you off or?
I totally forgot what I was saying now. So.
All right. Yeah.
4K television.
Damn
4K
it.
television
Goodbye.
coming soon to a TV
Next.
near you.
Next!
Let's see. Jordan, dare I talk about drone irresponsibility?
Yes.
Tell me what your finding is on the topic.
Well, so let me pull up this article.
All right.
So, basically, there's been this year through, from the start of January 1st to August 9th, 650 close calls with drones
Yeah,
and airplanes that are flying in the air.
it's getting a little ridiculous. And I wonder if this news story is maybe like a pointed political thing to try to speed along some legislation. But
Do you think it's going to come?
What?
Legislation about drones?
So I was talking to a coworker, a friend of mine, that he has a drone and stuff like that. They can't make any more changes until 2017 when the legislation can rewrite it and stuff like that. So I think that it will come, but it won't come until 2017. That's the next time that they can actually rewrite the laws and stuff like that for drones. But I do think that it's going to be restricted. But there's already restrictions. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, it's basically these people that do not abide by the law that will fly around the airport because you're not supposed to fly in a Class A airspace at all. And you're not supposed to fly within, I think, 1.5 or 2 miles or so like that. Maybe 3 or 4. I forget what the mileage is.
Post.
Supposed?
well,
You're supposed to fly within. You can't fly within certain many miles away from an airport, you know. But it's like these people are still doing it. These people are still flying within a plane's landing pattern and stuff like that, and they will continuously doing it. I don't know.
yeah,
what
we've kind
can
of
they
said
do?
that before. The legislation's already there. The rules are already in place, and it's just really a matter of me of like, how do you police this?
And that's the thing is that our RC controlled airplanes have been around for years. And
But
you know,
they fly around a small airport, like a airport that's governed by a community, or not governed, but it's an airport that's made just for those RC planes, and they fly around there.
Yeah, I mean, well, technically, you could always get a RC
Use-
airplane and go
yeah.
fly it near an airport if you want to be an idiot, and fly your $800 hobbycraft plane into,
I
there's
think that
nothing-
was the point that I was trying to make is that they've been around forever. It's just now you've got idiots flying them.
Well, I think that's what people are arguing now is like, well, the market's become so saturated with these things; they're so cheap.
Well, they're easier to fly.
Yeah.
I mean,
they don't take like as much specialization. They're just out there anymore. But I got news for you: just having
I've
something
got-
popular doesn't make it any more controllable.
I've got RC helicopters and RC planes, and I've flown them for years and never once had a problem. But they're hard to fly. So your average Joe isn't going to go out and spend $500 on a plane.
Yeah.
A
Well,
drone, when you've got multiple propellers like that, it's really easy to fly.
Oh, I think that commercial airliners are hard to fly, but I mean they proved that terrorists could figure that one out. So
they
I mean,
took lessons.
well, yeah, but I mean,
They took a
I
lesson.
don't know. I don't know why
the
the drone thing has become such a boon lately.
And honestly, when you could buy a Microsoft Flight Simulator X plane for I don't know, like $50, $60, you can basically learn how to fly a commercial jetliner from your computer itself.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is this story just kind of smacks of the crackdown on 3D printing that was coming out a little while ago because people were starting to 3D print guns.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, all right, that's illegal. Now go stop it. How are you going to do that? Unless you just make it illegal for everybody to do something legal so that it's easier for you to contain the people doing something illegal. And even then, all you're doing is
So-
taking it away from the people who are following the law. So you're still not taking it away from the lawbreakers. What did you achieve here?
So also in this article, get this, it says in June alone, there are 138 reports of drones flying at heights up to 10,000 feet. I didn't know they could fly that high.
Yeah, well, that's
I thought that 10,000 feet, that's
those
pretty high. Up
drones
there.
have Hellfire missiles on them because I don't think that's available at my hobby shop.
I've heard that. I've heard from
Love to see that
my
GoPro
friends.
footage though.
Yeah, sorry, definitely. I heard from a friend of mine that he said that pilots say that these drones wouldn't be able to take a plane down, even if it's almost like a bird
Yeah.
strike an engine. They can fly it with one engine, be fine. But I mean, if you strap some kind of not to say this, explosive to it, if somebody were to do like a terrorist,
yeah.
get,
I mean,
like,
surely
hey,
there's
let's
ways
just
that this could
fly
be done,
We could
but-
take it down. It could be like harmful and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just I mean I just go back to like what okay, I mean I agree that's bad. That shouldn't we should have ways of stopping that, but I don't know that the legal legislation route is going to solve what you want. It's not
It's
like
hard.
Joe Terrorist is going to be like, "Oh, we were going to take down the airplane, but they made a law." So, I'm going to go home this weekend. I'm assuming he's
Well, it's-
Hindu
it's like-
because that's the accent I had ready
you
to
can't,
go.
You can't catch every speeder out there. The police cannot catch every person that's speeding out there. There's going to be certain people that are going to drive 90 down the highway, 95 down the highway, and they won't get caught. while another person might be doing the same thing and he'll get caught. And so it's almost the same
Yeah,
thing
I
with
will.
the drones that
In my Prius.
some people won't get caught, some people will get caught.
Until they outlaw them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the only solution is here is just make it where you.
But do you think they'll ever go to that point of outlawing?
Once they do, they'll outlaw remote control.
And then you'll have the guys in the south like, they're trying to take our drones.
Then-
the hobbyist people.
Then the people that have remote controlled trains in their basement are gonna get arrested for that, and then the
First they
people
came
with
for the model
No
airplane.
more RC cars. No more RC cars. No more Hot Wheels cars.
All
Pretty
right.
soon it'll be like, yeah.
Well, I'm satisfied. That's a comfortable amount of drone
bicycles.
talk for me. We'll say next on that.
Next!
And here, yeah, these stories are not very show techy today. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. Not a lot of show tech information on this news articles, but
it's a pretty dry season right now.
it's
for,
news
new
that's of interest to
technology.
show techs, of which we all are. So there you go. Except for Scott, you don't count. Nothing's interesting to you. But I saw your
I'm going back to work.
OnHub announcement from Google. At least they pay better. So talk a little bit about OnHub. This is a product that I'm super excited about here for us, and I can talk about the technical applications. But this is.
Oops, why did that do that?
And thanks for joining us. Yeah.
I don't know why that did that. All right, Google
Behold.
is coming out with a new OnHub wireless router. For pre-orders start now for $199, and we go down to I'm trying to figure out some of the other stuff that has happened.
With a black and white picture and a pretty
So that's what it looks
headline-based
like.
information.
Google, their goal is basically hatch Google Fiber to the service and stuff like that. So of course, Google Fiber, which is only available in 20 cities or so.
Now, this will
um,
not just work on Google Fiber. This
No,
will
it can
this
work
will
on
work for
anything.
anybody.
It's like Apple's wireless router. It's not going to work on Apple Internet only. It's going to work on every type of router.
Yeah.
Internet
And
service
so,
that
and
can
so this
do.
is a $200 wireless router, which is kind of steep, you might say, because a lot of people can go buy like a $40 router and be just fine. But what Google has done in this space, and I think it's really smart and really overdue, is they've kind of taken all of the latest Wi-Fi technologies and crammed them into this little box. Plus, they've instead of just using the same off-the-shelf freeware to do all the programming for it, they've taken pains to optimize this thing for things like streaming video, doing Wi-Fi Skype calling, things like that. Just those classic activities that if anybody, here in podcasting, a lot of people use Skype for remote interviews. We do it. And one of the rules is, dude, do not be on Wi-Fi. Skype cannot handle wireless. You need to be hardline plugged in, or else you're going to be dropping calls left and right. This has technology in as far as buffering and kind of bandwidth, antenna shaping, things like that, that will make that a more reliable experience. Beyond that, it's also got user selectable functions where you can say, all right, this device, this is my video streaming device. I want it to have priority on the bandwidth. I want it to have this much bandwidth out of my connection. So say you've got, 50 megabits from AT&T. You can say, I want this to have guaranteed 20 megabits at all times. I don't care what the cell phone's doing. I don't care what this one's doing. This guy's got to have it. So when I go into my living room and I'm watching my Roku, it's going to be a flawless experience over Wi-Fi. So it's got a lot of those kind of user...
What's Roku?
It's like a little streaming TV stick. It's like an Apple TV for Amazon folk.
I think a cool feature about this also
Roku.
is Roku. Cool feature about it is that it has an app that you can control the router from. Most
Plain
other
English
places,
kinda thing.
most other things you have to basically control it from a website address by going in like www.inter or whatever the linksys.com or something like that, whatever linksys router
Sure.
IP address. Type in that. You have to remember IP address 2.2 whatever.
And I mean,
This one's just a
wireless
simple app you can
administration.
connect to it.
That's something that's available, but I think the key here is that they've made it really accessible. They've made it very plain English. They've made it very user friendly, a la Apple devices tend to be. So very powerful little box. Very very advanced technologically, very easy to use, very easy to deploy for most consumers. The one thing about pushback is that price tag that people keep saying, $200, that's a lot for a router. But if you look at the technology this is backing, including 802.11 AC, which is that the next generation Wi-Fi that does that directional beam shaping instead of just saturating your entire area with Wi-Fi. This actually does point-to-point connections with devices and kind of makes that wireless transmission more efficient. If you go and buy like your off-the-shelf, Linksys or something else, those are $400 routers. So they've at least cut that market price point in half. So it really is a good value if you can take advantage of those. Even if you can't, there's still a lot of good arguments to why this is going to be a far superior router technology and experience-wise than your $40 Belkin or something like that. So, like I said, I'm kind of excited about it in a professional streaming environment. It opens back up the ease of use of Wi-Fi that a lot of us show tech professionals have kind of been relegated to avoid, just because when something is mission critical and show related, you can't trust the $40 Wi-Fi router that the hotel is using or whatever. You can pop this down into an environment and have a lot better granular control. I mean, yeah, it's just a little bit more agile, I'll say. So possibly some application for professionals in that regard. But otherwise, check it out. Coming from Google, it's the, what's it called?
The Google On Hub.
Unhub. And with that, folks, that's all the news I've got for you. Unless anybody else wants to chime in.
Next.
Nope.
See, now
I think
you're
we're done.
overdriving. Now you're too loud. Can we pot down, Scott? Let's just turn them off. Just sit there and look pretty.
I think he'll get involved in the A block.
next
We are talking about some live and stuff like that.
Next. There you go. All right. So
it.
for the A block, yeah, we're out of the news, buddy. You're clear. I want to start off talking about, well, actually, this is kind of Jordan's topic. He did a good job kind of fleshing this out. Technology, all the changes that we've seen coming into technology, and I kind of wanted to spin that off into kind of the unexpected things that rose out of those technological advancements and dealing with those changes. So obviously he's going to lead with video, so I'll let you do that, man. You're talking about the change from tape-based recording to solid-state SD cards.
Exactly. We start back from the earlier days of video production and stuff like that, of using like a 1-inch tape, as you can see right here. That's right there. If I hit the button correctly.
Like Jordan. Okay.
All right, so like 1-inch tape. You would record 196 minutes. You had different variations, different time limits, and stuff like that. The flaws of it was that it's big. It's pretty a big machine. Big tape to put in there and carry around and stuff like that. And so they come up with a more that's the 1-inch tape. They come up with now like a tape base, and the most famous one was like Betamax Betacam. Smaller tape, still pretty expensive here. I mean, I think the cheapest one, the 30, was probably $20 to $30, and then like the 90 minutes was probably 40 or so. The positive about tape is it's hard. The tape it's recorded there straight, and it's flawlessly that won't crash. Like with the hard drives, as we'll learn later, hard drives and DVD recorders sometimes crash. Tape was pretty consistent. It wouldn't
reliable.
crash. Reliable. Thank you. Reliable.
Yeah. I know.
That
I
was
saw
like
a
the
lot
big
of
thing in television, wasn't it? Beta.
Reliability.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
like
the
a lot of
professional
news
format.
used Betacam. Beta was just the format that everybody did in news.
The reason Betacam was more preferable to VHS-based stuff was that you could tape over it multiple generations more.
And it wouldn't affect it that
and
much.
You had less quality loss over time. So it was a little bit more robust recording format.
I remember striping a bunch of tapes. Basically,
Yeah.
Striping it was basically sitting black to it and hit and record, and just basically striping the tape off of all its content. And then you clean the tape. That was basically deleting all the
There
content
were a
off
lot
of
of
it. And there you go.
inefficiencies for that reliability, but I don't know that I would say that it was a more reliable technology, because I know a lot of engineering maintenance kind of went into that stuff in television behind the scenes. I mean, you had engineering staffs dedicated to using alcohol and little Q-tips to like clean the record heads between shows and things like that. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong with a tape-based recording system. I mean, you're basically just magnetizing a moving piece of plastic.
Well, and here's the thing. Yeah, and here's the thing about tape. It took space. It took space on the shelf. It took, and you could only
your hour show takes up a Encyclopedia Britannica volume.
I mean, I remember working at a place that they had a whole big, huge closet full of tapes for 20 years worth of space, and it was like, this could be used elsewhere. This
and a lot of that was
else.
FCC requirements to have tape, to have archives of your shows.
Yeah.
So if somebody says, "Hey, did you say a swear word 7 years ago at at 6 a.m.?" You'd have to go pull the archive and be like, "No, see, here it is."
And also with tape, if you had to basically place it vertically, you couldn't lay it like this, or what I was told that the tapes with the tape threading would slowly sink, and then the tape would just be useless.
Yeah.
So you had to store it vertically. That way it rests on each other and just
Well, and the
That's
rub
fine.
there, no pun intended, was as the little drum, like as the tape slid off the drum, you've got magnetized sheets moving in parallel to each other, demagnetizing themselves as they move slightly. So whatever data you had on there, it's not like the plastic is getting hurt, but you lose the information encoded on it. So we came. Do you want to tell more of the history?
Yeah,
You had a nice
well,
little slideshow going there.
Yeah, what's going on? And so then we kind of move away from like a tape base into a more like a hard drive, base with something like the Panasonic did the P2 card. They had different sizes of P2 cards. They had 16 to 32 to 64, but they could only go up to 64. And the transfer rate was almost like a gig per a minute of HD. So a 64 gigabyte P2 card can only record 64 minutes of HD footage.
Never winning cycle.
Of course, you could double up, on P2 cards in some machines. Some like my camera that I have here that we're using for the show has two P2 card slots.
Yeah.
So I can have two 64 gig cards and record 2 hours. So some cameras had four, P2 slots that you can put four 64 gig cards. The thing about it is like they had an E series of these, and then I think was the F series or something like that. I'm not personally quick, but this E series could only last 3 years before the P2 card would just become useless. While the F series could last 7 to 10 years, but the F series basically cost a lot more. It was
I wonder about that.
My 32 gigabyte P2 card E series was $500. Imagine a 64 gigabyte F series, which was probably $1,000 or something like that more.
Yeah, I did see a news hit that they're, I forget who the company is now, but they're getting ready to come out with like a 200 gigabyte solid state hard drive now. So obviously solid state recordings come a long way too.
Then we
since
come
the
up to, the Sony XD cam deck. It's a variation. It's like Panasonic has this and Sony has this for their Sony cameras. You have 23 gigabytes right here, and it's reusable and stuff like that. You're recording on like a disc and stuff like that.
CDR kind of thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a CDR. And then all of a sudden, more and more cameras are coming over into the SD card.
He did a really nice job putting this together.
Something
This is gorgeous.
very small
It's like a little slideshow.
that you can go buy at, Best Buy, Fry's, Walmart, or something like that.
Not actual size.
Like the beta cams and XD cams and P2 cards, you couldn't be like on a shoot and go, oh, I need more tape, and go to your local Walmart and buy beta cam tape. You could go buy it. I mean, you'd have to find a local dealer that does that manufacturing and the broadcast.
SD card. I got what you need,
520
homie.
gigabytes. That's a lot of space. And plus, now we're coming into most of these cameras that are shooting on this. Like I've seen, I did a Thursday Friday gig for a company here, and we were shooting all on DSLRs. And of course, DSLRs are shooting on SD cards, and it's compressed footage. It's it's compressed HD, but it looks really great. We're messing with a .mp4 264 file. Very compressed compared to the Betacam days and P2 card and stuff like that. P2 cards less compressed than the media that's going on the SD cards. But honestly, for a client that can go out there and shoot 4 days and he runs out of space on an SD card, he can go to Best Buy, Walmart, any of these places, and go buy an SD card. It's like, well, we can continue on with the business.
So I was thinking
It's
about
a
that
little
the
more
other day.
efficient.
I used to be really overly concerned about video compression, and especially when we were starting to deal with HD. You had like your Sony XD cam products and all, and you're starting to see your ABC codecs and things like that. But I was always a big adherent to Panasonic's old DVC Pro 100 format, 100 megabits per second, and it was one of the more the lowest. Everything is compressed at some level, but this was like probably the least compressed method of tape-based recording that you could find at the time. And I was just really concerned about that. And then I found myself last week looking at one of my workflows, and I'm like, yeah, pretty much everything we shoot is on a little SD card now, and it's compressed like crazy, but I can still take it straight into my editor, and it still does native editing. I don't have to sit there and transcode for a few hours before I can start editing. It's ready. It's plug and play, ready to go, direct to edit. You can do your work, output a beautiful high definition 4K file, whatever you want to do, and you'd never know that it was compressed anywhere in between. You don't have any gen loss. You don't have any synchronization errors like you used to get with those lossy formats. They'd always lose their audio and video sync. So yeah, it's like that big debate just kind of went away. Just it doesn't matter anymore because computers, I guess, are so fast they can just accommodate for that.
And you can transfer this media, this SD card stuff, straight from the camera to the computer.
I would
And
love to
under
bore the
input,
snot out of you guys someday. Just do an episode all about the voodoo that is codecs, compression, decompression algorithms. I think Scott is gonna. He's like, oh,
he was just like,
please be now, please be now. But no, we'll table that for a future discussion because I think it's really interesting. And there's a lot of magic that goes into it.
Yeah.
And so and then kind of your last point down there was the cost. Well, no. You were talking about the time-consuming nature of SD, and that's kind of what I was saying. All the transcoding and stuff you have to mess with.
Time-consuming and stuff like that when you're basically transferring footage from, the cards, your P2 cards, your XD cards, stuff like that, to your editing machine, compared to.
We're talking about lights in a second,
to,
Scott. It'll be great.
Okay, so tape-based was real time, no matter what. You had somebody had to sit there, hit play, while the person in editing basically had to turn around and hit record on their editing suite and stuff like that. And it's all tape-based. So if you had 2 hours or so, or 2 hours worth of tape, you had to sit there and wait for 2 hours. Unlike today, now we have hard drives. You're transferring files over. You could be doing other things on the computer while the files are transferring. Once a file is transferred over, you can edit that clip right at that same time and be editing on that clip as other files are transferring. Tape-based, you really couldn't do that. You had to basically sit there for 2 hours and wait, ingesting footage constantly.
Yeah.
So it's basically we're saving time on editing, and for the producer out there who is paying an editor, they're saving time and money on paying a person to sit there. Instead of sitting there basically logging tape, they're actually just kind of ingesting the footage in through hard drives.
And I think that's a good point. Yeah, the tape logger. We're always talking about jobs going away and technology changing and people having trouble finding work. That tape logging, at least in professional production, that used to be a big part of the editorial process. Just paying an intern.
Is that a real job?
Yeah, just sit there and watch tape and okay, at time code 10.30.72.52, so and so starts her dog. Okay, at 10.72.32, there's a microphone in the shot. Okay, 10. Now everything's got metadata and everything's searchable. They even have automatic algorithms. Facebook's coming out with things that will scan your footage and say, hey, your face is in this shot. We recognize you from your Google post 3 years ago, so we're gonna tag this clip with your name in it. And then later, some idiot just goes along and searches and all the footage with this guy, and they get a big catalog comes up, and nobody is all computer based. So the time the labor costs, I guess, of video editing have plummeted for producers.
Yeah.
That's why we have such wonderful YouTube offerings as PewDiePie.
Yes.
So, but sorry, carry on. I'm just interjecting.
No, that's fine.
This is interesting. It's almost like a Jordan video lecture. So I'm just kind of.
And we are all learning.
I am. Yeah. He's our video expert, so let him jam.
My next subtopic will get Scott more involved with this.
Yes.
But also, I pointed out with the cost of hard drives versus tape storage. Usually with these TV networks, stuff like that, they have basically server farms, what they call it, of space where they basically transfer all the footage. That's where they store it at.
Now I was told that all the footage is stored on a cloud somewhere.
Well,
so
some people if you trust the cloud,
hot air balloon,
if
I would
you
imagine.
trust the cloud,
Yeah.
Is it a white cloud? Is it a brown cloud?
It's a dark cloud. That's all I know.
Is it a black cloud?
Well,
it's a pink cloud.
I think
Pink.
BET uses black clouds. I don't know.
I did not go there, people.
Got that, jackass?
Yeah. So I guess versus a dehumidified, electrically neutral warehouse of videotapes that have
so much space.
1 hour per book, like I was saying, on a Betacam tape. The cost of having a server farm, even like a deep storage thing. We talked about the Amazon Glacier product, where they will put your files into deep storage, and then if you want to request them, it takes them 20 hours to spool them back up and make it available to you. But the storage price is super cheap. So I guess the cost of storage, decades of footage has gotten a lot cheaper. But then you run into issues like, I still know guys who have a hard time committing to a non-tape-based recording flow just because they're afraid of what the computer is going to do.
Yeah.
And
Because, I mean, if you transfer something over onto a computer, I've had it happen, where you transfer and all of a sudden the hard drive crashes and all the footage is gone. Bye-bye. It's like, well, I don't have it
That's
on
no
tape.
good.
Let's back up.
Yeah.
I'm screwed because that's why I've told numerous clients that are getting into editing, it's like, hey, look, have backups no matter what.
Yeah.
Transfer the footage to this hard drive, then have another hard drive that you transfer to that's offline, that's not connected to the computer at all. That's where your backup is, that you can always go back and grab that footage whenever you need to.
one thing I learned from Leo Laporte on the internet was the 3-2-1 theory of backups. You want to have
Backup on a backup.
I think it's 3 different locations, 2 different kinds of media for every one recording you do. So you want to have something in the cloud, something at home, and something in a different location as well.
Yep.
So if the server farm burns down and your house catches on fire, you still got a third copy like in the bank somewhere.
Yeah.
You want
That's crazy mofos.
maybe you've got 2 on a DVD or an optical backup, 1 on a USB key or on a hard drive or something like that. So
and 1 on VHS.
technology change. Yeah, there you go. So you want to have a lot of backup, a lot of diverse backup, and that doesn't mean just recording it to a hard drive sitting next to your other hard drive because, if someone flicks a cigarette butt in the edit bay and burns the building down, then you haven't really saved yourself.
Oh.
So, okay.
On to my next topic.
Okay.
Let's move this on quick.
LED lighting.
We're talking about lighting, the changes in lighting. And Scott, you can probably get into this and dig this in better. I've had clients that basically they use LED lighting for all their stuff. Even out on the field, they'll have these LED panels that run off, battery, or is it just incandescent, like
Out on the
flows or stuff like
field?
that? Yeah, out in the field, out on the remote shoot or something outside, like
that's
setting up in front of, like-
lingo for
like out on the field, like shooting them out
location.
in front of like
I
American
thought
Airlines
maybe he
Center.
was working for a football team now.
No,
Oh.
he just
Like
goes
the
stands
Dallas
out in the field.
Cowboys, who just lost Brandon Wheaton to an incident in the second half.
Are you watching that on ESPN also?
Yeah.
Dude, we have a hard
Plus-
enough time like getting our
My
viewers.
video talk
Our
bored.
talent can't be like
You know what? Here's the thing, people. It was our own stupid fault that we chose Sundays to do this, and football season is coming.
yeah, that's gonna be rough.
It's going to be rough.
We're just gonna trust most of the games are at 12 o'clock and we'll be done.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Who's gonna watch the Cowboys anyways?
So let's break it down. Scott, LED
Break it down.
lighting,
What do
better
you wanna
or
know?
worse than conventional?
yeah.
Like what is? Give me your opinion.
The
You love?
Depends on
No, on spec, just as a whole, better or worse?
better.
Okay, so it's valid then. This isn't a
Next
this is
question.
I
a
think
scam. No,
yeah,
it's just-
because
Next question.
I
Was
think we're
I didn't
coming
know if
to-
you were
we're
going to
coming
be. Am I
to-
a traditionalist or what? Yeah.
we're coming
Next
to like
question.
LED.
throw.
Is it better? Yeah, it's better. It's more energy efficient. You can actually set up on a remote and run off these camera batteries and stuff like that, and have a 3-point lighting
you can
system.
do
Have no
video
wires
shoot.
attached.
You can do video shoots like in this house where it's
That is true.
900 degrees.
Thank God for LED.
We switched to LED, and you can actually sit in here without sweating.
Yeah, we can actually do a 30-minute show now. We try to do a 45-minute show, which is probably our
But
fault.
what's the cost of it? You go for a LED lighting, which is better, sort of better, but
Mo better?
Well, do we want to go
better,
cost,
but
or do you want to do the
compared to
throw?
throw distance.
Tell me
Also.
about throw distance.
Throw distance.
Hey,
Not nearly as far.
Yeah. Then it's a 1,000 watt lamp.
Yeah, give me a Mach 3 anytime if I'm shooting over 50 feet. I mean, you guys have 36 of them sitting in the air throwing at what? 80, 100
Yeah.
feet? An LED's not going to do that. Not yet. It'll get there. But
You think?
I think so.
I think
I guess
if
I don't know
if
enough
you
about the voodoo that is LED. Like, I
if
don't
you
even know how this
attach
works.
much
but
more glass into it, lenses and stuff like that, it might get there.
It might get there.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to get there. It all comes down to the pressure and the amount of glass that's on it. But even so, if you look at it, if you look at a lot of the LEDs that are out there now, like the COB that American DJs come out with, which is an LED about that big, but there's
Hold on.
150.
God, this guy. Light nerd. Yeah, there you go. Zoom in. Harvin, if you want to look right here.
Hey, Harvin.
It's basically... Sorry.
But it's basically that big, and it's got 150 different elements built into it.
Mark.
Boom, off you go.
All right.
So
I don't, like I said, I don't know,
yeah.
and I'll admit, as an engineer, this is my weakness. I don't know what a light emitting diode is. That sounds like
LED.
made up gobbledygook scientist talk.
I think you just said what it was.
Yeah, but what the hell
it's
is
a
it?
light emitting diode?
An LED.
Yeah, but how? That's like saying, you know,
It's small diodes. It's a small, very, very small. That
my car is
It's
a
very, very
is
small.
a is a magic goat juice emitting wheeled
It's
vehicle.
Very,
I don't.
very small.
just like my penis.
There's our handbrake. Yeah, but I mean,
Emergency
like I
brake
said,
brake.
I don't really understand what this magical technology that has been around since the 50s is, how it works. Like, is it made of like, are we hunting and capturing pixies in the wild and strapping them to silicon boards and making them glow?
We hired a bunch of
Yes.
Oompa
The
Loompas.
truth comes out, people.
It is.
There it
pixies
is.
Inside a glass.
There you go. So I always suspected. Now we have it
And a bunch of Oompa
on the
Loompas are
record
hired to
with
make
the
buildings,
Showtech Show. I'm your host, Rick Harr.
Since they're
Tune
small.
in next week for more scathing
It's
revelations.
a diode. There is no filament that's lighting up.
But what is it?
Putting electricity into a piece of glass that's got crap trapped
Yes.
in there.
What is the crap? I don't know. What is the magic goo that makes
Magic
light
goo.
when you electrify
It's a
it?
gas.
What is it? A gas or is it a?
No,
what-
a gas is basically what is the gas lamp? It's a
Yeah, it's
HML,
HML is gas, but there's also that. Can't think of it right now.
incandescent.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I need to learn more about that. I need to understand why it is, and then why are we limited to such tiny little fixtures? Like, why couldn't you just like?
Well, they're not tiny anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, why don't we make one like? Why don't we make one like the size of this room and charge it with?
You could.
We should. We should do that. Let's do a science project. Let's go make like a
Science.
room-sized LED,
That's why I keep talking about the cob.
and we'll
It's that big.
and then we'll just like hook up like really high voltage to it, and we can light cities with one giant LED.
Yeah, it'll burn out real quick, but that's okay.
So they do burn out. They're not totally magical.
Everything burns out.
Everything burns out. You're burned out.
Everything burns out, guys. Fluorescence.
That's true. They do have rated lifespans. I've never seen an LED burn out because I've never used it for 70,000 hours, but apparently they do burn out.
You,
It's just the lifespan of it.
you
They're all
watch
different.
you watch enough of these lighting instruments that are out there, you'll see diodes die. It's just like a television.
Yeah.
It's
But-
you know how a
yeah.
television has pixels that can
Yeah.
burn out?
Yeah. Those are LED, aren't they?
They are.
Or- yeah. Okay.
Well,
Or
Well,
no,
plasma.
hang
No,
on,
I guess those are
hang on.
LCD. Those are something else.
Well,
But
there's LED TVs, but
Yeah.
those can burn
LED
out.
TVs are just using the LEDs to
drive the.
drive the light for
Yeah,
the
they're not-
LCD. It's still an LCD screen.
That's another scam we'll talk to you about on the show.
That's another scam that I would get into wholeheartedly because of the fact that people don't realize that when they're buying an LED TV, it's still an LCD.
Yeah,
This is
unless you're
LED
spending
driver.
way too much money for a lot worse resolution than
Oh,
you're getting.
buddy, this is LED. This is an LCD.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's LCD. It's just driven by LEDs.
Yeah, that's huge.
Okay,
All right.
there we go.
So
and the inert stuff that's inside of LEDs it's different for each color. You
Yeah.
have to actually go and look it up. But
but it's like some kind of chemical compound. We're pretty sure it's not like Lucky Charms.
it's not Lucky Charms, guys. It's
Is it
a chemical
toxic?
composite. No,
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
Wait.
I don't think so.
How many fart drops do you have? Sorry.
you know,
Those aren't drops, bro. Burrito night. Yeah. There we go.
I am gonna quit going to fuzzies.
So hot in here. Yeah. So go.
So did we deal with the throw shit?
Yeah, we did. We realized that
Cost.
LEDs. We realized that LEDs cannot throw as far as a incandescent or anything else. But we noticed that for a kind of a small room, or if you're dealing with closed quarters, LEDs are probably the best way to go. Like I wouldn't want to put in our studio here. I wouldn't want to put a 2,000 watt lamp in here.
I think we could handle
Why
it.
not?
Do you really want to be in hell right now?
Whoa, dude. He's just asking a question. Don't threaten him, all right?
Here, buddy.
No, okay. Let's go back to throw for a second because that makes a good point. The difference is there a different lighting?
Do you have gaff over there?
What? No.
There isn't that pull-out drawer. Is there a different lighting quality with an LED beam versus an incandescent beam? I mean, does the light
Do you want,
disperse more or less with an LED,
do you want black?
or does that really
No,
just
this'll
have
be fine.
to do with the optics? I
What was
mean,
the question?
Huh? Say that again.
Sorry.
so does LED light
Huh?
diffuse more or less than an incandescent light source, or is that all just optics?
it's all
It's
about
totally
the
different.
glass a little bit.
Yeah. You're talking about two different monsters.
Uh-huh. Masking tape, really? There you go. There your problem. You had a defective ear. Fix that right up. So pro.
So,
The show, we started off a little bit rough, but I think the second half is looking pretty nice. So stay tuned, folks.
yeah, it's a if you look at an incandescent bulb, we don't have it.
Such as, well, hell.
If you look at an incandescent bulb, the light goes 360 degrees around it. If you look at an LED, it's directional.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you can't look at an LED from an angle because you won't see the color because it's directionally towards.
And
the
that's
other.
okay. So that's
Same
part of
thing with,
an incandescent light. They'll have like a reflective surface behind it to kind of double your output. Where an
to
LED
direct it, yes.
doesn't really have that. I mean, I guess you make two LEDs and have one facing back, but you might as well just have two forward-facing ones at that point.
Exactly.
So
So to get a 25 or a 40-degree beam angle, you have to have more LEDs.
you need an array of small
pointed in different
LEDs.
directions.
Oh, okay. So is it really like laser
Learning people.
directional, or like how?
No,
It's
it
probably like
depends on the glass that's on the front.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a little bit of like that fisheye effect that you have on cameras. It's just that's how they kind of bend the light to make it look
Yeah,
more
and
spotty or more
The
like a
generic,
beam light.
the generic beam angle is probably 15 to 25 degrees, and it just depends on how the glass is attached to the top.
Okay. But I guess there's again, this is kind of shows my lack of knowledge in the science that is photonics. But
That's why we gotta
as
stop
the
here.
light leaves the source, the LED itself, or your incandescent filament, does it degrade with distance differently, or is that just a matter of light frequency, or like is there a I don't know. This is totally. Act as if I'm a moron. Okay, Scott, explain to me how light going from an LED might be different from light going from a
LED
comparable filament.
Okay, LED light as compared to a regular incandescent or halogen or whatever, as I said, it's got its own little beam angle. It's going in one direction. So if you've got this array, there's always going to be dark spots between every LED's beam pattern. Boom, boom, boom. That's why LEDs dissipate a lot quicker than standard halogen lights. Standard halogen lights or ellipsoidals or whatever you're using will have an even field all the way across.
You know what? It's for video guys out there, a good way to memorize this. It's analog light versus digital light.
Basically.
Yeah. So like your analog,
So
just everywhere is light. With
there's
digital, it's like fakes it.
there's positives to and this was why the first question, that's a bullshit question. It can't be answered.
Well, I wanted your opinion.
It can't be answered because it's each
It's an application thing.
application is
Yeah.
going to have a different use.
Okay.
Like for a concert, LEDs are great. I'll use them 6, 8, 10 times over.
But for
Okay.
your key light, would you use them?
No, I don't like them for key light because of the fact that, like, even our LEDs here, there's probably 15 LEDs inside of those inside of those floodlights, and they're being dispersed. And if you move side to side, you can tell that there's a difference in the light.
You're not in the same glow. You're a million different steps.
They're
of
just
different,
not ready
comparable glow.
until they figure out the diffusion aspect of these LEDs. They're not good for key light yet.
Very interesting.
Although I've used them as key light in theater shows, you can get away with it. I don't think you're going to get away with it in television yet.
Not as the camera resolutions get better.
Yeah.
You're kind of fighting a losing
Now-
battle there.
Now you're talking about getting into 4K light or 4K cameras, which
8K
I don't
cameras.
know the most about video. I know enough to get myself into trouble, but isn't that
don't we
going
all?
to pick up the
The
dead
flaws?
spots a little bit?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's so. Whereas your old battle used to be between the sound guy and the lighting guy, competing against electrical noise. Maybe now the future battle will be between your DP and your lighting guy. Basically, the lighting guy is always going to be causing trouble. But now that you're using electronics that are a lot more dialed in and low power and aren't stepping on audio as much, now you're fighting that battle of, well, I got to have more video resolution, but I'm not willing to spend the money on the lighting rig that's going to have to support that. It's going to change the ball game completely.
Yeah,
And you got to be willing to understand it and work with it. So
it's going to get there. LEDs are, these ellipsoidals that are coming out now do have an even flow across the field. So it's going to get there for key light. It's just, is it going to be strong enough by the time it's ready to go up against the 8K cameras that are coming out?
Well, I think that's why it's good to have a lighting professional on the show speaking to topics like this, because I
would have no clue.
I could also see producers coming at it, and they just see the headlines. They see, great, lighting is cheaper now. You can do more with it. I don't have to spend as much money on it. And at the same time, they're running programs that are going to require more lighting finesse than ever before because their cameras are more sophisticated. And all they're they turn around and say, great, 2 years ago I did this show in NTSC, and our lighting budget was $50,000. Now I'm going to do it in 4K, and lighting's gotten cheaper, right? We basically want the same thing, so I'll give you $25,000 to go do the lighting. And, you might be really setting yourself up to get screwed there, because to have enough of the cheaper technology to overcome your newer video technology, you might be looking at a $100,000 LED show. Or go use the old ones, but now you didn't budget enough power because you were also cheap in that regard. And
so it kind of puts us all in the same boat once again, where we don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Yep, I certainly don't.
Find a new career.
All right, well, let's round it out on audio. See, we woke you right up. That was good. That was a good topic.
Wait, you forgot to ask about the ability to run lights on batteries.
We answered that earlier. We
mentioned it. Do you want to talk about battery powered light? Is this something you see?
Holy crap, this is a new thing that's huge that you guys are going to see a whole bunch of at LDI.
Yeah.
I've talked to about 4 companies now the past week, and they are all coming out with these battery-powered LEDs.
What kind of runtime do you have on a battery-powered stage light?
5 to 8 hours, depending on
Scott,
the output of the light.
It's wireless power, brother.
It's
Finally.
wireless power.
Thank you, Jesus.
I just saw a picture like that.
The thing about it is that for trade shows and crap like that,
my God,
with the wireless DMX and the wireless power now, you literally go and throw a light out there and go.
Yeah. Actually, I will say we've done some events at my day job, and the staging company has brought in little battery-powered effects lights, and they're total garbage. I couldn't use them because the wattage on them. But that's just because it was a local stage company. It wasn't because it was a professional touring outfit or anything. But if you're telling me there's actual legitimate fixtures coming out that can do stage quality productions or, like you said, trade shows, that sort of thing, off of long-lasting lithium batteries, man, that's awesome.
Chroma Q came out with a long-lasting 8-hour battery uplight. It's only got 4 LED diodes in it, but it's bright as hell. I used them over at Capital One's conference center when I was doing my last show over there, and bright, wireless. All the way.
Yeah, wireless DMX and wireless power.
And now some of the ones that are coming out are you can actually get these strips that are wireless battery powered.
Pretty
wall washes all the way across. 100 foot of wall.
You could probably put one of those on a drone now that they're wireless, and have my fabled.
Oh my God, a battery powered LED on a
drone light. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Moving light, flying
going
moving light.
up and over the fence to your next door neighbor's house. Wow.
With a flood lamp.
Be like a police chopper.
Oh, that would be hilarious. And a wireless speaker on there so you could play some sound effects. You down there next to the pool, put your top on. Oh my God, what's happening? Just kidding.
If my next door neighbor has his top off, please.
Larry, don't do it.
Don't turn on the video.
So we're talking about
audio.
So,
audio sucks.
Wireless audio.
See, we're back on another subject that I care less.
You got to ride the snake, Scott. We started low, got you all amped up, and then we're going to finish out on a topic none of us know anything about. If you're listening to the show, you can tell. So yeah, wireless audio has been around since I have, as far as the utility of it. Digital wireless audio has made some advancements, which
It's coming up.
yeah, I used to be really excited about digital
Sure.
wireless, and then somebody told me it's really just the same analog radio. It's just the difference is this is encrypted. So if you're talking
Pretty
about,
much.
I was like, oh, okay, so people can't spy on my wireless mics as much. Like, so if my speaker goes and pees with his wireless mic on, I'm the only one who gets to hear it now. Okay, well, I don't really care so much about that, but
Well, it does. It does a little bit more than that, though. Like,
I guess
the
with
Shure
digital-
it locks that channel.
yeah,
So if another digital source comes within,
that's true. You won't get frequency stepping like you
Right.
do with the analog stuff, where you get that whine of
Where you-
stuff sharing it.
Yeah,
That's cool. Having a digital wireless feed means it's either there or it's not. You're not going to get any
right?
noise and
interference.
But then again, like you said, with interference on here with digital, the same thing.
Yeah.
If you get just enough interference, it's not there at all.
And it's
whereas
gonna,
you
it's
might
gonna
be able to
kill
fake it.
you on any type of production that you do. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have any kind of interference happening, especially if you're doing like live television or something like that, and you're standing there out in front of the American Airlines Center or something like that, doing a big event,
Yeah.
doing a live coverage, and all of a sudden you hear like this, like and
Well,
the
that's-
producer's just getting ticked, and the director back at controls is getting mad at you, yelling at the.
Well, Mr. Paranoid conspiracy theorist here, that was always my issue about the nation's mandate to go to digital television. I was like, dude, we need television in emergency situations where what if something goes down and like for storms or whatever, the reception's not there anymore, the signal quality's not there anymore. Digital can't survive that. It's it's getting like the next generation of ATSC apparently is a little bit more forgiving. But right now, you pretty much have to be really strong line of sight signal. That was a big problem with the migration. A lot of old folks who lived out in the country who went from analog television to digital, they turned on their TV even though they had their little Walmart converter box, and their signal wasn't there anymore because the footprint just didn't get out to them like it used to.
Well, and it's I think the biggest example of that is marine sailing vessels have always run off of VHF and UHF radios, and that hasn't changed, and it doesn't change because of the fact that it'll make it through a storm where
Yeah.
a digital signal won't.
When you need to talk to these small craft that are out there in danger, you don't want to be doing it on a frequency that's not as
digital
robust.
was so freaking fantabulous, why is it that these EPIRBs on boats are being sent out via VHF
Yeah,
instead of?
The only reason digital is so great is because it allows you to cram more into less space.
I mean,
It's all about just marketing, basically, being able to sell more wireless channels, use more wireless
and
frequencies.
that's all. That's a sad fact, but
Well, and it's really important for broadcasters because in a metropolitan area where you may have 700 channels, because of deregulation now, they're all owned by one company. So now that one company can have 800 channels to broadcast to the consumers on instead of maybe in the old days you'd have actual 700 different voices. You've just got the one voice now, but it spreads 800 times. So that's really great. That's great that we have that. So
and that's-
excited. It's awesome.
Unfortunately, the concerns that you have are very well valid. Like, we did a show in Las Vegas, and we loaded in the night before. We had 10 rooms that had wireless mics in each
Yep.
room, and then we had our main stage and everything. So we had probably 50 microphones all across
In Vegas, it's not like you're out
in Las Vegas.
I almost said it's not like you're out in the desert. You know what I mean?
We had 50 microphones all across the Venetians or the Sands Convention Center. And the day that we loaded in, everything was fine. The very next day, a Dell convention came in, and they took up every bit of wireless frequency that there was. We had static in every stinking room of that hotel.
And it was it wireless mics themselves, or was it just all their Wi-Fi devices?
That was all their
going on?
Wi-Fi
Yeah.
devices that were crossing
There's
over.
so much radio noise in the
Yeah.
air. People don't. I mean, there's always been a lot of microwave stuff going, satellites and everything. But at the terrestrial level, there's so much RF happening.
Well, there's
People
and
don't know.
What people don't realize is that when there's a convention like that happening, the minute that those 10,000 computers turned on, that entire
Just the noise
space,
from the computers.
that
I can
entire
imagine they're
space
throwing a
got
lot of RF.
filled with RF. And
Yeah.
there was, I mean,
Just the circuit board is just radiating noise.
I
You know, the
pulled
stuff
up-
the FCC says it can't, but it does.
on my laptop, I have a frequency analyzer, and I went and looked up all of the RF that was going on, and there was so much crossover everywhere. I was like, there's no way that we'll get a clean signal.
Yeah.
They shut down at 5 o'clock, luckily, before our.
Did you
meeting
use the
person-
Showtech show method where you touched the wireless receiver to the transmitter, and then that way you
No.
bridge your gap? Yeah, it's so. I mean,
I
there's your
plugged everyone in with a wire.
there's your unintended
There you
consequences.
go.
Wireless can be great as far as portability, ease of use, and flexibility, but reliability has gone into the toilet.
If you want to see a TV guy go nuts, hand him a microphone with a wire on it. Well,
What is this thing? Is it charging? I don't understand.
I'll,
Can't we just run on batteries? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. We always used to do wired stuff whenever I was a reporter, but it was for like a little rural TV station, so it's just we couldn't afford wireless. But rock solid. It worked. I mean, even in the most ridiculous applications, it was always functional for us. So.
Congratulations.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, that's
That's
Jordan, this was your
Wasn't there
topic,
a
so
drop there?
What?
Wasn't there a drop there?
No, I didn't have one queued. I
was
was
his
like
drop?
looking.
he said dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
That was a drop.
Annual drop.
Record it.
Well,
Mark.
let's jump out of the A block then and go right into our next topic, which is really immersive audio. But before we kind of
Get
talk
onto that.
about the next generation of surround sound, I want to remind everybody that we are still planning in October to venture out to the great city of Las Vegas to cover Live Design International, the lighting industry guru show of choice. That tape looks awesome, by the way.
What tape?
Your masking tape.
Oh wait.
Yeah. I was like, I just saw that again. I was like, oh, so classy. But anyway, yeah, so this is I think the
Hey, that's
2014
iron.
footage. But we're going to be trying to check this out. We'll try to get some nice interviews and keep you abreast of all of the latest lighting technology that might be coming your way in the land of Showtechs. Scott, you kind of keyed us into this, and this is something you've been a believer in for a long time.
Yeah.
Tell me about what you expect to
Yeah.
see, what you're excited to see at LDI 2015.
Oh, yeah.
I am excited to see a lot of drunk friends.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Really, it's a
Showtech.
fabulous time for you to go and I saw they were showing the Jans Vista from last year.
Yep.
It's a fabulous time for you to go meet people, meet other techies like us, learn what's going on in life in the lighting world.
Yeah.
And this is where all of the lighting companies do their rollout. They do 2 rollouts a year. They do it here and they do it at the USITT convention.
Okay.
So this is the big. This is where everything that's new is coming out. And,
This is where the news is made.
yeah.
So,
And so
we'll be there, covering it
uh,
live for you, the consumer.
They open up the exhibit hall, I think, on the 23rd to the 26th. But the rollouts and all that stuff take place on the 19th, the 20th, 21st.
Okay.
So with that, we definitely want to get there on the 19th, and we're trying as hard as we can to get all this to come to fruition. We're
Yeah.
going to be there no matter what, but
Scrappy little Lone Star is going to get out there and cover you some lighting news. The only way we know how.
I bought all 3 of these guys Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
Hey, now.
That's how we do it.
Showtech show.
Yep.
That's gonna be awesome.
Looking forward to that one. It's going to be
Yeah.
fun. All right, guys, let's talk about really immersive audio. Jordan, 5.1 versus 22.5. Is that
So-
really what it's come to nowadays?
That's what they're saying.
I think that's
What?
what everybody wants to go to now.
22
the
channel,
new-
0.5 sub-channel audio.
We're so used to like this, for instance, a 5.1 surround.
Yeah, that's what I've got
Um,
set up in my bathroom.
Everybody almost has 5.1.
That's a lot of speakers for 5.1.
Oh, yeah, but
is
it's
that-
3 in the front, 2 in the back, but
Yeah.
they compare it channel wise. You know,
Okay.
the 2 on the front right here on your sides, even though they're 2 left, 2 right now, those are considered 1. 1 in the center, then your backs, and then your sub, which is considered the 0.1. That's the standard. It's been out for years. 5.1 surround has been out since I was in college. Even earlier than that, I've had a 5.1 surround sound system that when I was in high school, which is 15 years ago. 5.1 surround sound. Now they're coming over to this new thing. It's like, well, for all this 3D stuff that's going on, we want to really immerse the listener, the viewer, to true audio. And it's mostly these directors are saying, it's like, man, we just need to like, I want them to hear the sound that's to the side of them. I want them to hear this and all the stuff around the back of them and stuff like that. I want them to truly hear this. So they're coming up with like 22 speakers and 2 subs. Immersive audio.
Oh my
Look
God.
at that. Can you imagine going to go see a movie like this with like this crazy audio and all these speakers, or even putting it into your freaking house? I don't know how it's going to work. That's just
I've always been a critic of
massive.
surround sound, and a lot of people are like, how many ears do you guys have?
2.
2 ears?
2 ears.
So you really only need 2 channels of audio to do all of that. Maybe the subwoofer channel, because that's not really a sound channel. That's more of like a vibrator under your couch.
What?
But the
I have the 7.1
okay.
at my house. I love it.
And
I like it better than the 5.1.
Well, here's and this is what eventually sold me on the idea, because yeah, you only need 2 channels to feed 2 ears, but that's kind of assumes you're wearing headphones.
Right.
Like you can duplicate a 22.5 environment or whatever with headphones, and that also means if you're looking straight at a screen. And this is where I bring the theater stuff into it, because as theater technology gets more advanced, I think the advanced sound applications might come your way too. But the trick is when you've got a live audience. This is our sponsored
Green.
the Ghost of Rolling Rock. Woo!
That is freaking awesome, guys. Oh.
Well done, boys.
That was a laugh.
So, wow.
sorry.
Derailed. But anyway, the trick with multi-channel
Excuse
sound
me.
comes from when you've got a live audience sitting in a theater looking at something, and you want to you want to fake that immersive environment
Yeah,
by
Oktoberfest.
running those multiple channels.
La la la. Yeah.
And beer. And so that's where, if you want to make people feel as if there's something behind them, or conduct it with me now.
There's definitely something behind you.
We should put it like over here as like another little logo to offset Showtech show, because it would just be floating there like a key. And turns out here we go. So, wow, so classy. But anyway, the trick is, so you can use these multiple speakers if you want to create an artificial sound environment to kind of reproduce reality. So in a situation where you want, where people are sitting in their room and you want to have something sneak up behind them, you can do that, and it's independent of where they're sitting in the room. So if they're not sitting right in the middle of their stereo speakers, they're not wearing headphones, you can attack them with sound from any direction. Just
Have
wrap
you like truly? I when I was at school, we had this theater room where we watch movies and stuff like that, and we actually watched. Oh, what was that movie with Mel Gibson? Not The Shining, but
The Patriot
the alienish kind of movie
with Mel. Oh, Signs.
Signs.
Oh.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
we actually watched that, much of us late at night, because we snuck in there because I had a master key, to the theater room, and we watched the movie, and they had the 5.1 surround, stuff like that, and we're actually sitting there, and a scene where basically the alien was walking across the roof, and you hear the footsteps, like,
Yeah.
I could hear that right behind me, and it was so true. I freaked out. I was sitting there like going, what is that?
Yeah,
and
so
it's like,
if
but
it's-
it brings you into watching the movie when it's properly tuned in and stuff like that.
And what's key is it does it socially, because it wasn't just you sitting alone in a room with directed audio happening at you. It was a group of people all shared that fake experience that was reproduced electronically, and that's where I think it'd be huge for theater, because you can bring in those surround sound effects.
Well, the thing about theater is that most of your sound designers are going to design a system for specific, like when we do a show, if there's a telephone over here, we'll put a speaker behind the telephone. We'll put a we've
ahead
got
of
our
your
two
time. So you're well
stereos.
beyond a 5.1 system. You're on a whatever the hell speakers you want.
there's
system.
different
When we were doing
practical
when we were doing Christmas Carol, we put 4 subwoofers underneath the audience seating for when the Ghost of Christmas Future pops up.
Yeah.
We could rumble the seats.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad. Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity, and so moving to a 22-channel sound, that's it just gives you more instruments. That's damn near Ring of Fire for audio.
Yeah, that's about overkill.
That's like a speaker everywhere. That's like what an LED designer would do for his.
And we're talking about also like
tied it in
with this like
Tying it in.
with the surround sound
Tie
systems.
one.
Like currently, we've been using the AC3 audio codec and stuff like that.
Your wife's calling you.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
Scott's just cracking. Look at him. He's just like cracking up on himself on his own joke. He's like, "You're all going,
Oh, I cracked myself up.
I got you good."
You guys
Carry
are
on.
just mad you didn't think it up.
Oh, shit, I got you good, you fucker.
That's a good point.
But with like it has to do with encoding and stuff like that. We're using with the video and stuff like that using H.264, but also with audio encoding to recompress all this stuff up. Currently, we've been using AC3 and MP3 and stuff like that. But
Ooh, how are they going to squeeze 22-channel audio?
well, they're thinking with some new codecs that we use, like the ATSC and MPEG H and AC-4. Maybe some new codecs that can handle 22 channels and 2 subs of audio rolling through it. That it could be able to do it. I just don't know if people are willing to spend enough money for 22 channels and 2 subs.
Well, here's the killer app, Jordan. So you question the application of that social event where you're all sitting there, you're focusing on a stage or a movie screen where the visual is locked down. So you've got that director-produced window of reality, but the sound is kind of floating beyond that to kind of give you that more immersion. What about these technologies, the 360 cameras that are literally filming everything? That was always my theory, is let's get one of those 360 cameras and let's put one of those 5.1 channel sphere mics on top of it, so you're getting surround sound audio with the surround video.
Okay.
And then now you've got a much more granular surround sound audio to accompany literally an analog sphere of reality that no matter where you look, the audio is tracking it with you, and you're getting that completely replicated environment. That's when you start talking about a complete virtual reality. Real-time virtual reality system.
Once again, you've lost me.
What? Okay, you were with us talking about the 360 cameras. You've seen the spherical cams, right?
I'm having to tape shit onto my head.
What kind of a shit show?
Oh my God.
But yeah, so this the 22.5 audio. This is the sound that would accompany that kind of immersive visual experience that watching a traditional live stage or even a movie theater or a television home theater kind of thing.
Was this your thing?
Yes.
It was?
This is the Jordan show this week. This is why you read the Google Doc. You put your shit in ahead of time so you don't have to just be at our mercy.
I'm looking for you, but
I'm loving
it's
it.
Like,
Not a sponsor.
Yeah. What?
But, okay, that whole Google Doc thing, that's fine. I went to go put something in, and he posted, well, I got something for A Block.
Well, you could have.
I guess I'm done.
Well,
It's a democracy.
My job
We
here's
don't
done.
have
hey,
to.
next week, put it in there already.
My job here is already done.
You're just the color commentary.
Dude, I just make you laugh
Yes.
by taping shit to my face.
You're the slapstick to our intellectual.
You'll-
je ne sais quoi.
You'll come good around LDI when me and Richard don't know.
Yes,
jack.
we'll be saying there like, we're here to make it look pretty. And Scott, talk lighting stuff. Go.
I'm trying to figure out. if
Scott will be
I'm
like an
gonna take
orgy.
Jordan as my camera guy.
Yep, I would.
And let you go off on your own. And
That would be funny. I'll just take a little like Zoom mic and just do funny
do you
recordings
do
of like.
video? No. Oh, okay.
No, I'll just go chat up the booth, babes. You can talk about lighting nerd stuff.
Hey, I want that position.
Nope, you can call it your camera guy.
Haha.
You don't
So,
want to be my camera guy?
You girls like the internet?
Booth babes.
All right. Well,
Chewy and I will take you out to the boat.
Oh, okay.
Well, we got the boat. And
boat.
we got horses.
Yeah.
Oh, bring your gun.
that doesn't sound safe.
No, I can't transport
Horses and guns
Yeah,
on a
you
boat.
can.
You can have your gun in Vegas.
Yes.
It's the
Which
wild,
one?
wild west.
Whichever one you want to go out to Chewy's
Folks, we'll be right back.
farm and
Well, Jordan, whenever you're ready, you can play us out. I think that's all the time we've got.
wait,
for tonight's
before
show.
you go,
And go ahead and pot him down. That'd be great.
let's see here. Oh, I have nothing here.
Yep. And
Justin Wilson. Oh, yeah, Justin Wilson. In the IndyCar race today, everyone knows that I'm a racing fan. In the
Huge
IndyCar,
racist. It's true.
Huge racist.
I think
I'm
is
not
that
the one with the Russian flag sitting there.
That's a lot.
That's a
Okay,
Weird Al
this-
Yankovic.
Sorry. Justin Wilson got into a car wreck today at Pocono. Our prayers and thoughts are with him as he's sitting in a coma right now in Pennsylvania.
Dang.
And
It's not been a good week for
not a good
auto
day.
and air shows this week.
No, it really hasn't. Been a lot of tragedy this past weekend, and I'm hoping for the guy, but he got hit in the head with a piece of a car, and
Jeez.
so prayers to his wife.
Yeah. That's true. Kind of a buzzkill, but it bears saying. It bears saying that it's
You know what? The guy's in a coma, but race car drivers know what they're doing.
That's true. It's not like he was tricked into racing. So wish him the best. Thoughts and prayers. Absolutely.
Thoughts and prayers to his family. Other than that,
Holy
we'll be
hell.
drinking heavily.
In his honor, or just because?
In his honor.
Yeah. Folks, if you enjoyed tonight's show, then there's clearly something wrong with you. But you can
Yeah,
check out our
because this
past
has
episodes.
really sucked.
This Will's off.
We are at youtube.com/TV Lone Star, and there you can find our Showtech Show playlist and find out all of our recordings from last season of this. We do encourage you to connect with us on Twitter. We're at Showtech Show. You can follow us there for show updates or
Dav Sound.
funny banter. Yep.
DAVSND.
They can read. Quit promoting yourself. Please send us email if you like to work the old-fashioned way. We're Showtech Show at
Trying to get them to turn my mic off.
.com. Yeah, why haven't we done that? And join us each week, Sunday nights here at 8 o'clock on the Lone Star Webcast Network as we do this thing live. It's frontiertelevision.com. I normally say good show, everybody, but we'll just leave it at that. Good night, everyone.